As a consumer, I'm talking to you. Don't get caught up too much in the hype of the next big thing, because sometimes the next big thing you're actually holding it in your hand, or it's waiting for you to purchase at less than half the cost or half the cost. What's going on, guys? It's your man Jay, and I'm back with another video. Sitting here having the morning coffee and want to talk about the Pixel 5a 5G. Now, there's a lot of hype behind the Pixel 6 Pro and the Pixel 6. Salud. And I think we tend to forget sometimes what we have right in front of us. Now, I'd be lying if I said this device wasn't fantastic. So after 45 days of use, it's probably been a little bit longer than 45 days, I think, but let's just call it 45 days. I'm not one to skimp on follow-ups. Sometimes I push out probably 15, 20 videos per phone. And I think the real world review comes with a discussion like this, me just sitting down talking about my experience with the device. Now let's start with the obvious. Obviously, back when the device first hit, there's going to be an influx of people picking it apart, influencers talking about everything that's going on with the device, and just trying to figure out if it's going to work for them. That's the review phase. That's what do they call it? Honeymoon phase. That's the honeymoon phase. So initially, when you get something, it's always a lot of hype behind it. It has to be that way because you're trying to figure out if this device is any good. If the camera, for Google, it's always going to be cameras. But I think we hit a roadblock with this device right here when we came to the cameras. This is probably one of the first experiences I had from Google where the camera it had an issue out of the box. But I mean, I'm happy to report that I have not had any other issues with this device. None. I've shot plenty of video with it. I take a ton of photos and thumbnails with it. Sometimes this is my phone that I use. Well, actually, most of the time, it's a Pixel device being used for a thumbnail if I'm just wanting a blurred background. Now, sometimes I'll use, it's weird because when I'm taking a picture of iPhone stuff, I use iPhones for it. I don't know what it's about. But in the beginning, we hit a snag and we had a lot of conversation about this phone. Cameras failing, Google needs to fix it. The truth is that hype is over. That's gone. I haven't heard anybody really talking bad about the cameras anymore with heating issues. Now, it could be that those people bought it and returned it right away. Well, you guys know that I'm a part of Team Pixel officially from Google, and so they sent me this device, and this is a great gift from Google. I appreciate the love. So, there's nothing for me to return. I have to stick with it, and I'm going to continue to use it as one of my primary devices. Now, I'm currently I've tried it on AT&T, T-Mobile, Verizon. I'm using it on Verizon right now, and it's fantastic on Verizon. I mean, you're talking about great signal, and it's good on the other ones too. I got really fast speeds, download speeds and upload speeds on T-Mobile using this, but I recently switched this out, switched my Verizon SIM card into here because I wanted to, I hadn't tested it on the Verizon network yet. And so, but nonetheless, I'll get to network, but the cameras was an issue at the beginning, and you watch this pattern of people talking about the cameras, talking about the negatives, talking about the things that's going wrong with it. And then you fast forward to today, I haven't seen hardly any of the same people talking about the cameras having an issue or just talking about the device at all, because as a creator, we go through these cycles of whatever device is out. That's what we're talking about. I personally use the devices, and I try my best to give you a follow-up. Like literally, there's a Pixel in my pocket all the time. Currently, if I'm being honest, my primary SIM is in the iPhone 13 Pro. And then this is obviously my secondary SIM. And then one of my other SIMs is in the phone I'm recording with, which is the Z Flip 3. This is my Fi account for the Z Flip 3. So all three of these get a rotation. But I think when you dig in with a so-called review, ultimately, I think I'm doing it too. I'm just kind of giving you first impressions for the first 2 or 3 weeks. The review phase is now. This is what's happening. Right now, I've gotten 2 updates on here. I think it's on the September security patch. I'm not having any camera issues. Battery is flawless. I mean, this phone can go several days. I go a minimum of 2 days, I believe. Right now, I have, what's the battery percentage? I have 78% left at this current cycle. and I've got a day and 11 hours left. But nonetheless, I can go 3 days solid with me as a user for the way I use the phones. I'm not going to label myself a power user anymore, because ultimately I just have a lot of content coming in. I have a lot of social media stuff hitting the phone. So tons of emails. But remember, I use my phones for calls. So this gets a lot of calls. And when I'm on the move, I have to keep a Verizon phone with me. Unfortunately, because there are some areas when I'm traveling that AT&T and T-Mobile drop off. And that's just what it is. I don't know why, but that's just what it is. So obviously I know why, because the towers and Verizon, yeah. But battery is flawless. The network on here, whether you're using AT&T, T-Mobile, Verizon, whatever, you should get solid network on this thing. Now, again, the Verizon network to me handles this Pixel the best. There's never any dropouts at all when I travel with this. So it's just a good look. And so I think that when it comes to the cameras, again, at the beginning, there was this huge debacle about us overheating, it's getting hot. And people really focus on that for some reason and don't really try to come up with anything to try to work around. They push it all the way back to Google instantly and say, fix this broken product. But in reality, it's man-made, so there's going to be some issues with it, and that's just what it is. So take a sip of your coffee if you're with me. Yes, it is early in the morning. This is quiet time for me. As you can see, I'm not sitting in the office. I just got the MacBook out right here and got it's being easy, chilling out here. But I think that the camera thing is a fluke. It's something that happened, and they're fixing it with software updates, because I haven't had any problems since. So, but when it comes to cameras, okay, now let's be clear here. To me, these are still some of the best cameras on any device. Now, where I feel like the cameras could definitely improve, for some reason, this combination right here, the video quality is good, and it's better than some other phones. It's just not great. Now, obviously, this phone costs $450. So if you want to get the best quality video, here's my advice for people who want the best quality video from this device. Shoot in 1080p 30. And that is for creators alike, along with consumers. Everyone just shoot in 1080p 30 with this phone. I found that that's the best quality that I could get from this device, no matter what I'm doing, no matter the lighting, everything. Because when you turn on 60 frames per second on cameras, notice that the quality changes a little bit. You should be able to notice that. So ultimately, when you're looking at something like video above 1080p 30, you're also sometimes losing stabilization, but this camera has great stabilization on it. So Google's done a fantastic job all over again. And yes, I'm excited for the Pixel 6. Of course I am. But let's not forget that there's a phone like this, and you always hear me preaching this, the companies will always give you an out. You get an out, meaning they will give you a chance to buy something great at a lower cost from them, and you don't have to sacrifice price, you don't have to sacrifice quality, and you don't have to sacrifice anything. You're just not getting what we would consider pro devices, which is going to be the 6 on up, because those have the Snapdragon 888. They have all these powerful things inside. And sometimes, you sacrifice battery when you go to these higher price devices. This is just what the discussion is going to always be. Some phone manufacturers, when you start putting in a real powerful processors and all this RAM and all this other stuff, you start to miss out on battery life. And with this device right here, you don't have to worry about battery life at all. So daily use on here, and just for what the device is offering. Obviously, software, Google is king to me. I think they have the best software ever. I can do whatever I want to do on an Android phone. I can take care of so many things so much better than my iPhone, and that's just the truth. But that's subjective. You might not like stock Android. Some people prefer the software on the device I'm recording with. They prefer the Z Flip 3, so they prefer all these extra features, the side markers, But you can, and it's so weird. This phone is packed with features. It has split screen. It has all these different options that you could possibly use, but Some features that people don't talk about, there's two features that people should be talking about on a Pixel device, and that's call screening and their voice recorder. Now, those are things that I can implement into my life, and it's just fantastic. If you've never used call screening, you're missing out, period. Call screening is the truth. It is so flawless, man. It is so good. And I think you will be hard pressed to dislike it. Anything dealing with the calls, it can hold for you. You can do a whole bunch of stuff when it comes to stuff like that. But those are features to me that are more important than having two apps open. But there's a feature that's important to everyone. And that just happened to be one of the most important features to me. And then if you do a website and you don't want to type out a whole bunch of stuff, voice recorder. Flawless, flawless, flawless. It is absolutely fantastic. You can take your transcript, put it into text, cut and paste, go in and make any little tweaks you need. Boom, you just wrote a 4-page article in less than a smidgen of the time, period. So if you check the boxes on a solid device, sometimes it's not that more expensive device. In most situations, it is not that more expensive device. It is the device from the same company that costs a lot less. Again, when it comes to pricing, you're not sacrificing a whole, but you're not missing out by getting this right here and not getting waiting on the 6 Pro models and the 6. As a consumer, I'm talking to you. Don't get caught up too much in the hype of the next big thing, because sometimes the next big thing you're actually holding it in your hand, or it's waiting for you to purchase at less than half the cost or half the cost. It's up to you to decide. So for me, a review on a device is times like this, a discussion like this, 45, 60 days in almost, and the device is running fantastic. I could fire up these cameras and take fantastic video. I can take some of the best portrait shots you will ever want to see, or just best photos you will ever want to see on any device. This is a fact. And the fact that people still argue that, I think iPhones are great for portrait shots, but sometimes iPhones won't let you take portrait shots of everything and anything. And that's the best part about having some of the Google products. Portrait mode to me is like the ultimate camera shot. I love shooting in a portrait shot. I just think it's the best. So Google needs to do some improvements. It's not flawless. The only improvement that's somehow different on this one is the cameras. The video quality is not there. It's great, it's good, but it's not stellar, fantastic like some of the other Pixels that I've used. But I've always heard people say that I don't shoot video anyway. This was a statement I used to hear all the time back in the day. I don't take selfies. I don't do videos. And maybe it was just because you didn't have a quality camera to do it with. Well, this phone right here definitely can take care of that for you. I suggest you shoot at 1080p 30. And some people are going to get in the comments and say, well, it needs to shoot. If they put it there, it needs to work. I call bull crap, because I don't know any consumers that use 4K video. Some of them don't even use 1080p 60. Some of them don't, most of them don't even go into the settings and change the video resolution before they go in and tap camera. They never go in and tap camera, video resolution, go to settings. They never do it. I've never seen a person do that. That's just a genuine consumer of a product that they bought, and they're not looking to shoot in 4K 30 or 4K 60 or 4K 24. They're not looking for any of that stuff. This is your answer right here. I'm not downplaying that there might still be an issue with 4K recording and above on this device for heating issues, but for some reason, the thermals in this device, something's not playing right with this combination. Because when you think about it, this is ultimately just the Pixel 5 and the 4a mashed together at a much better price, ultimately. So whatever is inside of here that's causing those thermal issues, hey, I'm sure Google can try to make a resolution for it. If not, this is what we have. So I recommend that this is still to me, a pretty much flawless device by today's standards. It's got some of the best cameras, got some stellar battery. Software is untouched. It's just unmatched. Software is just unmatched. And then you have this, I think this color is beautiful. I think this hardware is beautiful. That's just me. You determine what you think is great and what you think is suitable for your needs, what you think a phone should look like. But you've got a headphone jack, you've got the Type-C, you got the stereo speakers, just all those things that people don't really talk about. The fingerprint reader on the back. There's so many things about this phone that I like, and the pros definitely outweigh the cons when it comes to the Pixel 5a 5G. So, it's your man Jay. Are you one of those consumers out there that is not a creator who has the 5a 5G and you're enjoying it, and do you see any flaws with yours? Are you upset that sometimes you might have a heating issue? Again, not downplaying that, but my resolution to you is don't shoot in 4K if you're having those issues. Just don't do it. Shoot in 1080p, because to me the quality is pretty much almost the same. And you'll get better stabilization on 1080p 30. There's so much better things about 1080p 30. And this file size is much more manageable. So, it's your man Jay. A long discussion video on the Pixel 5a 5G. I absolutely love it. I think you should probably check it out. If you're one of those people that think you have to wait on the Pixel 6 because you hear us talking about it, don't do it. Just go ahead and grab a reasonable price device that's pretty much probably going to perform just as good. The cameras just might not be as great. That's probably about it. This is man Jay. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys in the next video. Take care.